Have you ever done something your cat clearly didn't like and then wondered, did they actually remember that? You probably told yourself no. Cats are simple. They live in the moment. They forget. But here's what nobody tells you. That is completely wrong, and the science proving it is more specific than most people realize. Cats don't just remember what happened to them. They remember who did it, where it happened, and exactly how it made them feel. Their brains have a region called the hippocampus, the same structure responsible for memory in humans. And researchers have found that cats can retain memories of specific events for up to 10 years or longer. Think about that. Every time you've startled your cat, every time you've picked them up when they didn't want to be touched, every time you raised your voice, that went somewhere, it was filed. And depending on how much emotion was attached to it, it may have stayed there permanently. Most owners have no idea they've been building a record this whole time, but your cat has been keeping score all along. Here's the thing most people get wrong about cat memory. They assume it's vague, like their cat remembers them in some fuzzy general way. Warm, shape, familiar smell, probably safe. But research shows it goes much deeper than that. Cats have what scientists call episodic-like memory. That means they don't just remember that something happened, they remember the what, the where, and the emotional weight of the when. A 2013 study published in Behavioral Processes found cats could recall their owner's voice after separations lasting years. Not months, years. There's a documented case of a cat named Kunkush who was separated from his refugee family and relocated to an entirely different continent. When his family called over Skype months later, he recognized their voices immediately. No visual cue, no familiar scent, just the sound of people he loved. And his brain had held on to it through all of that. Now think about what that means for you. The way you talk to your cat, the tone you use when you're annoyed, the specific sound of you in a calm mood versus an impatient one. All of it is being cataloged. They don't just know you, they know your patterns, and they've been tracking them far longer than you've been paying attention. Here's what most owners don't realize about negative memories specifically. They don't fade the same way positive ones do. Experts who study animal cognition consistently find that emotionally charged events, especially frightening or painful ones, tend to stick the hardest. One vet described a diabetic cat who needed regular clinic visits. That cat was a nightmare for the entire staff, hissing, hiding, scratching, panicking every single time. But the second she heard her owner's voice from the waiting room, she ran straight to the kennel door and started chirping. Same animal, completely different response, because her brain had stored two separate memories with two completely separate emotional tags. The clinic meant danger. The owner meant safety. Cats don't blend those together. They store them precisely. This precision has profound implications for how cats behave at home. A cat who had a bad experience with a particular veterinarian may flinch at the sight of a carrier even months later. Another cat who was comforted during a thunderstorm learns to seek out that specific person when storms arrive. Their memory system doesn't generalize across situations. It ties specific sensory markers to specific emotional outcomes. This is why a cat who was scared once in a specific room might still avoid that room months later. It's why a cat who was handled too roughly by one person will tense the moment that person walks in, even if nothing happened today. They're not being dramatic, they're acting on stored information, and that information is accurate. Now here's the part that should genuinely change how you behave around your cat every day. Cats don't just remember single dramatic events, they remember patterns. Repeated small experiences compound. A 2003 study found that cats adjust the pitch and tone of their vocalizations based on how humans have responded to them in the past. That's not instinct. That's learned behavior built from accumulated memory. Researchers studying domestic cats also found that cats who interact with their owners consistently for as little as 3 months can retain memories of that person for life. 3 months. So every daily habit you have around your cat, how you wake them up, whether you respect it when they walk away, how you respond when they're hiding, is actively being written into their long-term memory right now. And the emotional charge attached to each of those moments is what determines whether they remember them as evidence that you're safe or evidence that you're not. The good news is that positive memories work the same way. Every time you extend your finger before petting, every time you walk past your sleeping cat instead of scooping them up, every slow blink you offer when your cat meets your eyes, whoa, those are being stored too, with the same precision, with the same emotional weight. Cats who receive consistent gentleness from an owner don't just become calmer around that person. They form what researchers describe as a secure attachment, the same classification used for infants who feel safe with their caregivers. And secure attachment in cats looks like this. They explore more confidently, they recover faster from stress, and they come back to you on their own, not because you called them, because their memory of you is a memory of safety. One cat owner described noticing that their formerly feral cat, skittish and unreachable for the first year, had started sitting closer and closer each week. Nothing dramatic had happened, no breakthrough moment, just months of small, consistent choices that built a record. And eventually, the cat's memory of those choices outweigh at every bad experience that came before. That's not magic, that's neuroscience. Your cat remembers everything you've done, and they're still deciding what kind of story it adds up to.